So I think my screen is visible to you, and my voice is also reaching up to you. So considering these things, we will start our today's discussion. In yesterday's lecture, we have seen um, what is the definition of vector space and what are the four, we can say, entities that are that the vector space, while defining the vector space, that we need to consider. Okay, so I think we can start further discussion. So we were just involved in observing the examples of vector spaces, and these are few examples that I have shown in this slide. So n-tuple space, that we already know how it can be a vector space. We have already discussed yesterday also. So matrix space V is equal to M of the order small m by small n. Okay. So if m and n equal to 2, then we can always perform matrix addition and scalar multiplication for matrices, and we will come to know that m uh, means m small m by small n is a matrix space. Okay, is a matrix space, and obviously these numbers, all the m and n numbers, all the elements of the matrices should be real number entries. So this can again form a vector space. Okay, so please note here, I can say V is equal to m n by n. That means if we put any value of m by n, okay, and let's say in this case m and n equal to 2. Okay, so 2 by 2 matrix will be there. Okay, are you getting this? So any real number values can be put, so it will again form a vector space. The next is nth degree polynomial or less polynomial. Okay, so let's say vector space is a polynomial having n degree. Okay, degree n. So obviously it is a set of, what I can say, the set of all real valued polynomials of degree n or less. Okay, all real valued polynomials of degree n or less. You know that why again and again we are performing only two operations, because um, to call any space as vector space, we have to, what we have to do, we have to perform two operations and check whether the given space is closed under those two operations or not. First one is addition and second one is scalar multiplication. So here we are going to perform p of x plus q of x. Let's say p of x is having coefficients a naught, a1, a2, a3, and let's say q of x is having coefficients b naught, b1 up to bn. Okay, so obviously the both, since both are the functions of x, so the nth degree will be x raised to n, nth degree will be x raised to n. And similarly, so this p of x plus q of x will be again in pn only, and pn is in, or again that result will be again a polynomial of degree n or less than that. So, and that by definition, that pn is in v itself, so that's why we will say that it is closed under, or it is satisfying the addition operation. Okay, you can say that. So it is closed under addition. Now next is we are going to multiply that p of x by, let's say, scalar k. So k a naught plus k a1 x plus dot 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 up to k a n x raised to n. So again, let's please remember that since all the real valued, since the polynomial is of real valued, so if we multiply the coefficients by k, by any scalar k, which is again a real number, so it will be again in that set only. That is, again the result will be all the, we can say, result will be real valued polynomial having the degree n or less. That's why again it is, we can say that it is satisfying the scalar multiplication operation, or we can say that it is closed under scalar multiplication. So um, this is all. So since these two properties are getting satisfied, we will say that this is a vector space which Pn. Pn is what? N degree or less than that, degree polynomial space. Okay, so Pn is also here is a we can say vector space. Okay, I think these are sufficient examples, but still we'll see more and more. We'll solve one or two examples on paper so that you will get the feel. Okay, so for that, before that, we will see what is the fourth example. Fourth example here is continuous function space. Continuous function space. Uh, Let v is equal to c from infinity to minus infinity to infinity. So it is since it is we can say existing from minus infinity to plus infinity, we can say that this is a set of all real valued continuous functions defined on the entire line, or on, we can say entire real line. Okay, so real number line we can say. So if we add if you take any function from this set, this is set is what? Continuous function space. So if we take f of x and another set that is g of x, and if we add them, so obviously the result will be on number line itself, because it is continuous function and it is residing from minus infinity to plus infinity. So we will say that this is closed under vector addition, or we can say addition operation. And then next is we are going to multiply any function f of x from this space, this continuous function space, and multiply it by any scalar k. Then obviously, since k is scalar, we have defined the continuous function on the entire real line. That's why uh, by multiplying with any real number, it will be residing on that number line itself. Okay, since this is a continuous function. That's why we will say that this is also closed under vector. We can say so scalar multiplication. Scalar multiplication. So by we can say that considering the fact that both the operations are getting satisfied, we will say that this continuous function space is your vector space. We can say that it is a vector space. Okay. So what do you think? Are you getting what I am explaining to you? Please confirm in chat box. And after this, after we can say one or two slides, we will consider a few examples. That is one or two examples we will do. Okay. And in tutorial tomorrow, examples will be these concepts. Vector space and subspaces concept will be very much clear to you. And in tutorial, we will solve the examples. We can say based on these two concepts. Okay. So are you getting this? What I'm delivering to you? Oh, hello students, are you there or not? Again and again, I need to check the participant list. You can decide among yourself who wants to say yes and no. Okay. Since you are not, I know these lectures are after lunch session, but still, okay. Please consider my side also. And okay. So next is your we can say by the fact that sum of the two continuous function is continuous and the product of scalar and the continuous function is still continuous. That's what we discussed right now. Okay, so this is nothing much we can say adding to. Let's do next. Yes, next slide will be okay. Please see the summary. After seeing this summary, we will check. We will see one or two. I think while solving the examples, we will be coming across such more examples, or more we can say cases where these where the whatever they have described under under addition and scalar multiplication, if we perform those operations on given set, and if we find out that any one of the operation is not getting satisfied, or any one of the axioms out of the 10 axioms is not getting satisfied, in that case we will say that given space is not vector space. Okay, so in lecture we will see some examples, and in tutorial also we will be seeing the examples. Okay, so from those concepts and from those examples, you will be getting the idea how the examples can be asked on such topic, on this topic. Okay, so for this before this we can say summary of important vector spaces we can see. Okay, so we have already seen this R2, okay, set of all real numbers. R means set of all real numbers. Then R2 is the set of all ordered pairs. Okay, R3 is the set of all ordered triplets. We have already seen. Rn is the set of all n tuples. So just now we have seen C of minus infinity to infinity, that is a continuous function space, okay, on the real number line. Okay, then C of AB, set of all continuous functions defined on closed interval AB. Okay, so defined on closed interval AB, that will be that also will be a vector space. Since please remember here, okay, since the difference between C minus infinity to plus infinity and CAB is we can say particular, um, we can say apart from that continuous function space, we can say we have separated out and we have named it as CA to B, that is on closed interval A to B this continuous function space is lying. Okay, or it is existing between that closed interval A to B. Okay, so though you don't know, if you are getting what I am saying, though you don't know the concept of, I can say, uh, or you don't know the concept of subspace, but I will say at this point, C of AB, C of A comma B is the subspace of C of minus infinity comma infinity. Please just take note of this statement, and I'll be in this lecture only. I'll be we can say I'll be noting this point that I have said I have made this statement earlier. Okay, because what we are doing, we are also, if we understood this vector space now, then we will be understanding what is the subspace of that vector space. So for that, understanding of vector space is required. Okay. Now next is P is set of all polynomials. That just now we have seen that Pn is the set of all polynomials of degree less than or equal to n. So it can be a vector space. Just now we have seen that. And obviously matrix having dimensions as m and n, where n and m can be we can say any real numbers. Okay, any real numbers, so that can be also vector space. Okay, so the notes here are: the standard addition and scalar multiplication operations are considered if there is no other specification. Please remember this point. In example, how to perform addition and how to perform scalar multiplication might be given to you. So using those rules of addition and multiplication, which are provided by the, we can say uh, the book, we can say, which are provided by the question paper setter, we can say, or examiner, those rules we have to follow. Okay, and if they are not given or not considered or not specified, then we are going to consider the standard addition and scalar multiplication operations. Okay, so this is the fact, this is the note to make. Okay, and then next is, because what will happen, you will say that, sir, why they have given, or why to perform the addition in this fashion only, why to perform the multiplication in this fashion only. Okay, so we should not ask such type of questions, because they need to check whether you have understood, or we can say the examiner needs to check whether you have understood the concept of, we can say, uh, the concept of vector space, let's say. And if they are deliberately making, we can say, the definition of any vector addition or scalar multiplication definition, or how to perform those operations, that definition they have deliberately we can say changed. Okay, and so using those rules, whether those rules are satisfied by given space, if they are satisfied uh, the by a given space, then you will say that it is vector space. But if they are not satisfying, then you will say this is not a vector space. Okay, so as simple as this. So, and if those rules, or how to perform those operations, it is not given, then what we'll do, we'll consider the standard operations. Okay, the next is each element in vector space, obviously we know this. And so vector can be a real number, an n tuple, a matrix, a polynomial, or continuous function. Till now we have seen such examples, okay, of vector space. So note, very important note is this: to show that a set is not a vector space, you need to only find one axiom that is not satisfied. out of all the 10 axioms that we have discussed yesterday, so out of all those 10 axioms, what we need to we can say to say that or to show that any space is not a vector space. Out of those 10 axioms, we only need to uh, show that only one or any one of the 10 axioms is not getting satisfied. Okay, is not getting satisfied. That we need to show. Okay, for example, on your screen, the set of all integers is not a vector space. Okay, the set of all integers is not a vector space. Why it is not a vector space? Obviously, the addition of two integers will be integer only. Okay, that we have seen in childhood mathematics. That addition of two integers will be integer only. So if the given set is set of all the integers, so vector we can say, sorry, the addition operation is getting satisfied. Are you getting this? Okay, but if we go, if we check for the scalar multiplication operation, and scalar multiplication operation says that, let's say let's take any we can say integer. Let's say integer is 1 and it is multiplied by any scalar. Obviously scalar is a real number. Okay, that definition, you will now say, are you getting this? That definition of scalar is scalar should be any real number. That we have seen while studying the definition only. Okay, are you getting this? Why C is real number only? Because while discussing the definition, so it is mandatory that that scalar C should be a real number. Okay, and we know that half, that is 1 by 2, is a real number. Is a real number, that we know, and hence we have studied what is the definition of real number. And in first lecture itself, I have pictorially describe you how the real numbers are getting formed. Okay, rational and irrational numbers. And so we can say that half is a scalar number, sorry, a real number, which can be used as a scalar here. So half into 1 is half, and we know that half is not an integer, and we know that half is not an integer. That's why the basic definitions of what is the integer, whole number, real number, all these definitions, that's why we have seen at the beginning of the our sessions only. Okay, are you getting this? Why this is not a vector space? Till now we have seen 6 to 7, I think 6 examples in which the given space was vector space. But this is the first example in which we are showing that the given set is not a vector space. Okay, are you getting this point? Please tell me. Given space is not a vector space. Given set is not a vector space. Okay, so please respond, guys. It will be very beneficial for all of us. So next example is the set of all second degree polynomial functions. Okay, the set, I think it is not right now, it is visible. The set of all, I think, second degree polynomial functions is not a vector space. Please make a note of this. The set of all second degree polynomial functions. Okay, second degree polynomial functions is not a vector space. And if you have understood the concept, 5 we have said any polynomial of degree n or less than that as a vector space, but the set of second degree polynomial function is not a vector space. Why we are saying this? If we take p of x is equal to x square and q of x is equal to minus x square plus x plus 1, then if we add these two, then what is the result? X plus 1. And what is the degree of x plus 1? Can you tell me? What is the degree of x plus 1? X plus 1's degree is what? If we are given the polynomial that x plus 1, then what is the degree? Yes, correct. So formally or in a differential equation you must have seen in second year, degree of polynomial, we can say degree of any differential equation is the highest power. Okay, is the highest power. Okay, so highest power here is x plus 1. So x is the term. So x is having the degree 1. That's why we can say it is not a part, or we can say it is not a subset of the given set. We can say that. So given set is the set of all second degree polynomials. But after addition, the result we have obtained is having the degree as 1. So it is not a part, or it is not a, we can say, subset of the given set. So this set is not a vector space. Are you getting this example? Okay, this set is not a vector space. Okay. Okay, can we continue? So the next example is, okay, so before this we will see some small example, one or two examples, and then we will come to this example in which I will be telling you. So please confirm that notebook is visible to you. Please confirm that notebook is visible to you. Okay, in chat box, please confirm this the notebook is visible to you. Please confirm in chat box. Pen, paper, and my hand is visible to you. Okay. Okay. So, considering that you are viewing what I am writing here, okay. Let's say question is V is equal to, I think the question was like this: x y defined over x greater than 0, and I think to height it is x greater than 0 and y greater than equal to 0, a vector space or not, a vector space or not. Okay, so we have to solve this. Okay, so V is defined over, V is having the elements as, let's say V is a vector space, it is having a vector xy. Okay, xy defined such that x is greater than equal to 0 and y is greater than equal to 0. Can you tell me how to imagine this? Can you tell me how to imagine this? So, are you getting the question now? Is V defined in such a manner, is vector space or not? But to solve, or before solving this question, please tell me, are you able to imagine what is this space is? What this space is? So you can answer in chat box, or you can unmute yourself and answer also, no problem. No. Please again see the question. Please again see the question. V is having two elements, or we can say a element which is having x and y, and defined over a defined in a manner such that x is greater than 0 and y is also greater than 0. Correct, Anurag, but not perfectly correct. Yes, Amol, correct, very correct. Okay, so it is showing me. Okay, it is showing me. It is showing me. We are having two components. Okay, we are having two components which are only having positive values. Greater than or equal to 0 means what? Which are only having positive values, and origin also included. Please consider origin also, since equal to 0 is there, na? Origin also included. And what I am drawing here is the coordinate. Since there are two coordinates only, that's why I'm doing this. Okay, two coordinates means what? Two elements only. So, and we have seen that R2 is having we can say R2 is the space which is having two, we can say, elements which are in ordered, or we can say which is are in sequence. That is, x will be coming first and then y will be coming first after the x. So let's say this is, I think, let's take it as x, let's take it as y, and whatever now let's say x is greater than 0 equal to 0 and y is greater than equal to 0. So that's why this will be the space. That's why this will be the space, because both are positive only in first quadrant, because both are positive only in first quadrant. Okay, so 2D plane, that what you are saying, 2D plane is uh, if only, let's consider, if the definition is only limited up to this. So only having components x and y. Okay, so 2D, whole 2D plane will be there. Okay, all the four quadrants will be there. But if it is defined in such a way that x is greater than equal to 0 and y is also greater than equal to 0, so we will be getting the first quadrant only. First, I can say quadrant only. Okay, first quadrant only. Are you getting this? Okay, so now we will check. Now we will check whether this is vector space or not. So that we can say from the discussion till now, what is the step to check whether given space is vector space or not? Which operations are very important that I have told you yesterday? We need to check. Can you please tell me which are those operations? Okay, that you need to check to say whether hmm, to say whether given, I can say, space is vector space or not. Can you please tell? You have to answer in chat box only. What are those two operations that are very important? Yes, vector addition and scalar multiplication. Yes, Anurag, correct. V plus U or U plus V should be in V, correct? Yes, yes. Now what we'll do? We'll now check. Let's say any vector is there. I'll use different pen now. Let's say any vector is there within this. So we have to put only positive values of x and y. Let's say x is, let's say x and y is, let's say 1 and 2. Let's say 1 and 2. Okay, so if we put this is 1, this is 1 unit, and this is 2. Okay, so this is, let's say this is the vector, this is the vector. Okay, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 2. Okay, now we can add this vector with any of the, so are you getting this? This vector is in V, huh? Please remember, let's say this is vector u, let's say this is vector u. I think I will consider this u as u, and let's say V is I can say 2 1, I can say 2 1. So I'm going to add 1 2 with 2 1. So what I'll get, I'll be getting 3 3. And let's say 1 2 is this, 2 1 is this, let's say 2 1 is this, and what is the result I'm getting? This is vector u, this is vector v. Okay, and I'm getting the third vector which is having value x and y as 3 3. So after adding I'll be getting its we can say equivalent vector as 3 comma 3. Let's say this is the 3 comma 3, this is 3 comma 3. So can you tell me whether it is closed under vector addition or not? Let's say this is some vector x, let's say, and this is x. Okay, so can you tell me whether this is closed under vector addition or not? Or is this is your addition operation is getting satisfied or not? Is your first, whatever Anurag has written, is that condition is correct or not? So what we have to check? Whether u plus v, the result is in v also. So is the result in v itself? Can you please tell me whether this is in v? Because we know v is this. We know that v is this whole quadrant, and x. I think the but x is there. So x is the result of addition of u and v, let's say. So x is residing or lying or existing in the first quadrant. That's why we will say that uh, addition operation is satisfied. We will say that it's satisfied by this vector space. Now what we will do, now we will check for what, we will check for what, scalar multiplication. We will check for what now, scalar multiplication. Okay, now to check the scalar multiplication operation. Okay, so can you please tell me whether it will be, since this is first example, I'm trying to getting you visualize the things. Okay, that's why. Okay, I have I have started to use pen and paper. Okay, so please cooperate with me. Can you tell me whether it is closed under scalar multiplication or not? So in other words, I am asking you whether the scalar multiplication property is getting satisfied by this we can say space, given space, or not. So I want more answers, because please think. Dear students, please concentrate here and please answer. One fact I'll tell you, okay, regarding this, we can say linear algebra. If such condition is there, that is the whatever situation in which we are now, so that I don't think it will be getting over very soon. Okay, so your test should be conducted in online mode also. Okay, in online mode only, and in that online mode, what is the problem, that mostly as you have given the class tests in you can say class test in previous semester, in we can say MCQ manner. Okay, in MCQ manner. So if MCQ is asked na on this subject, n number of MCQs will be there, and which will be the conceptual questions. Please understand. Okay, you don't have to solve all the steps. So from that perspective, you need to understand each and every concept, whatever I am, or I will not say totally whatever I am telling you. You will be, since you are in final year, you will be studying by your own also. So whichever concepts or whatever source you are going to follow, that source or the concentration should be 100% whenever you are studying for this subject or you are attending the lectures. That's what I feel. Okay, so how to select the scalar multiple? Okay, correct. To select the scalar multiple, we have given the condition in the definition. That's why I was very keen to again and again describe the definition. Please, now I think you are able to see the slides. Okay, you are able to see the slides, and I will again start with this from current slide. Slide is previously. Okay, now this you know, no? Let V be a set on which two operations are defined. If the following 10 axioms are satisfied for every element U, V, W, and every scalar. Please remember, every scalar in bracket, they have written real number. So any real number you can take. Any real number you can take. This is the hint for you. And please tell me now, if you take C as any real number in our example, mm, then will it satisfy scalar multiplication property? Will it satisfy scalar multiplication property? Please tell me. Will it be satisfying your scalar multiplication property? So instead of directly describing the example and answer to you, I am hoping to get some trigger to your imagination and how to grasp questions in this we can say first unit. So how, what values can be selected for C? Please tell me now. What values can be selected? Yes, correct, Amal. Few more answers I want. Only 3 to 4 people are, I think they are aware what is going on. And I know your batch. I have taught you for much amount of time. If you are concentrating, you are that brilliant enough to get the things. But since you are not answering, you are not. I think you are not attentive. Yes. So what will happen if I take C as negative number? Now please tell me the answer. What will happen if I take C as negative number? Let's say the same vector is there. Let's say U is there, which is 1, 2. Okay. And if I take C equal to minus 1, let's say C equal to minus 1, then what will happen? Let's say this is 1, 2. Let's consider that this is 1, 2. And if I'm multiplying this by minus 1, then what will happen? Yes. Yes, Abhishek, correct? Yes, it will not satisfy the condition. So scalar multiple condition is getting violated, and which is the axiom number 6. If you remember the sequence, which is your axiom number 6, please see on the screen, which is the axiom number 6. Okay, so you must be getting the difference now. Okay, so Cu is not in V. Scalar multiplication is saying that Cu should be in V, but it is not in V because V is the first quadrant only, and we are getting the result in third quadrant. Because if you multiply this by minus 1, so by red pen I'll be describing this. Okay, so this will be your vector. Okay, and our vector, our vector space, or our space, given space is first quadrant only, and since it is, we are leaving the first quadrant. Okay, we are leaving first quadrant. Okay, that's why, or we can say result of scalar multiplication is no longer a part of, we can say, first quadrant, so it is not closed under. So what we will say, it is not closed under scalar multiplication. Okay, application. Okay, now please uh, uh, note that I am spending much time for such, we can say, easy example, but it is easy when we are understanding the example. Okay, so if uh, so in such, using such small examples, we are going to develop our approach. Now what changes I am making, please consider. Okay, I hope whatever I'm writing is visible to you. And by considering that, I'm putting next question. Let's say W is the space which is defined such that x y is there, and the x y's are defined such that x into y is greater than equal to 0. X into y is greater than equal to 0. And please tell me whether this is a vector space or not. Vector space or not. This is the question. Please tell me whether this is vector space or not. Okay. Are you getting this question now? I think you have understood the question. Previously, x and y were, x is greater than equal to 0, y is greater than equal to 0. Okay. But here, the product of x and y is greater than equal to 0. So, can you imagine the space now? So, is the question is visible to you? Please tell me first. Is the question is visible to you? Please tell me. let's say this question is from this point. How? Yes, Abhishek, correct. You are correct. But since you are answering, I am considering that the question was visible to you. And if somebody wants, please rethink. Okay, I'm again showing you the question. Okay. Again showing you the question, and which is yes, whatever answer Abhishek has given is correct, but that is not the final answer. Okay. Yes. So Gauri, can you find first quadrant vector space? Scalar multiple is not an a scalar multiple. It is not an vector space. Not a vector space. Correct. So answer is it is not a vector space. So if I say that answer is not answer is like this, ki it is not a vector space, then under which can you tell me under which operation it is not satisfying? Which operation it is not satisfying? Which operation it is not satisfying? Can you tell me? How scalar, Amol? Answer is correct, but half correct. We can say 50% correct. So you are saying that quadrant is first and third. Okay. So I'll explain what is the wrong part in our answer, Amol. Okay. So I'm saying that this is the let's say y, and this is x. Okay. So product of x and y is greater than or equal to 0. Product of x and y is greater than or equal to 0. So negative numbers product can also be greater than or equal to 0 or positive. So if two numbers are negative and they are multiplied, their product is also greater than or equal to 0. So that's why along with the first quadrant, third quadrant will also be there in such case. In this example, third quadrant will be also be a space. So vector space will be comprising of, I can say, first and third quadrant. I can say first and third quadrant. Okay, are you getting this? Now, now, if I take any real number, okay, let's say this is the, I'll use different pen. Let's say this is vector u. Let's say this is vector u. And if I'm multiplying it by c, so it will be having cu form. Okay. So if I take cu as positive number, so where my u will be in this quadrant only, first quadrant only. If I am taking c as negative number, c this c as a negative number, so in that case, what will happen? My I think vector u will be in this quadrant, depending on c's value, it will be somewhere in this quadrant. Okay, are you getting this point? So it is in vector space. It is in vector space. So either you take positive value of c or negative value of c, it is in the same space, which is defined by your space w, which is defined by your space w. Are you getting this point? Please confirm, are you getting this point? Okay, now if I am saying that this is not a vector space, then what is the remaining operation which is not getting satisfied? That operation is obviously addition operation, which is not getting satisfied. So if I take, so you are getting these concepts, huh, right now. Okay, so I'll be directly taking, I will be directly taking uh, the example like, I'll go to the next page. Okay, I will be directly taking example like 1 2 1 2, which is u, and minus 3 minus 1, which is v. Okay, which is u and v. So addition of u plus v will be given by minus 2 and 1. And please tell me where minus 2 and 1 is lying. Please tell me where -2 and 1 is lying. In which quadrant -2 and 1 is lying? In second quadrant, correct? In second quadrant. And whether our space is comprising of second quadrant? No, no. So our space is limited up to first and third quadrant, na? So vector addition, I can say that the space is not closed under vector addition, or we can say addition, that is sufficient, no problem. Since these are matrix, and matrix are the we can describe matrices or vectors by matrices, we can also say vectors. So addition is not closed under addition operation. We can say space W is what? Not vector space, is not vector space. So please tell me, using such simple examples, I am trying to develop your approach towards such questions. Okay, and depending on this, your first assignment will be there. And if you attend the tutorial and if you solve the, we can say, assignment, then you will be having much more practice. Okay, that is more than sufficient. Are you getting these we can say examples? Please confirm. So if anybody has any doubt, please, yes, you can put in chat box, or you can unmute yourself and tell me. So considering you are not having any doubt, we will move to the further part. So we will be having somewhat difficult example now. Yes. So till now, the examples were only having the question part, and operations, how to perform the operations, they have not given. But in this example, they are describing, or we can say dictating, how to perform the operation, and particularly scalar multiplication operation. And that rule we have to follow, and whatever they have told, that we have to follow, and by that rule only we are going to perform scalar multiplication, and then we will check whether that is getting satisfied or not. Okay, are you getting this? So the question is like this. Let v equal to R2. Okay, the set of all ordered pairs of real numbers. Let v equal to R2, the set of all ordered pairs of real numbers. Then uh, what is then next? Vector addition u1 u2 plus v1 v2 equal to u1 plus v1 comma u2 plus v2. So this is very normal operation. Like this only we perform the vector addition, or we can say addition operation. So the next is scalar multiplication operation, which is described like this: c of u1 comma u2 equal to, first element is correct, cu1, but every time second element will be 0. But every time second element will be 0. And they have already mentioned that, to understand, or the note they have given in bracket is non-standard definition. This is what? Non-standard definition. So what do you mean by non-standard definition? Standard definition would have been c of u1 comma u2. So I think I can write this. Okay, so standard definition would have been, of scalar multiplication, would have been c of u1 comma u2 equal to cu1 comma cu2. But instead of this, what they have given, cu1 comma 0, cu1 comma 0. So due to this 0 in second, we can say space, we can say second, we can say second element is 0. Since that, this will be called as non-standard definition. Non-standard definition. Are you getting this point? So understanding of question is also important, na? That's why we are doing this. Okay, now where is the question? So this is your question. Okay. So please uh, verify whether V is vector space or not. Okay, this is the question. Please verify whether this is a vector space or not. So obviously the solution is given by themselves only, and since time is running, I'll be just letting you to read that solution. Okay, and if you are having any doubt, please let me know. Okay, so understand the solution by yourself here. I think you are visible the PPT. The PPT is visible to you. You are viewing the PPT. So only one axiom it is violating, that is 10th axiom. What is the 10th axiom? 1 into u should be u, should be equal to u. And u is having, u means u1, u2. So since it is ordered pair or set of all ordered pairs, so u1 and u2 will be there. Let's say u1 equal to 1, u2 equal to 1, and let's say c is equal to also 1. So what should be the result? 1, 1. But according to the definition, according to standard definition, result should have been, or we can say result could have been 1, 1. But what is happening here? Since compulsorily second element should be 0, that's why the result is 1 comma 0, and hence it is not satisfying the axiom number 10. Hence we will say that this is not a vector space. This is not a vector space. Are you getting this example? Please confirm in chat box. So we have seen 4 to 5. Firstly, standard examples we have seen, 6 to 7 examples. Then I think 3 to 4 examples we have seen. Okay. Total 9 to 10 examples we have seen. How to say whether it is a vector space or not. And that takes us, please guys, be attentive. Please give me answers. Okay. So I will be taking your attendance here itself. Short on the then Gauri is there. Yes. Nikita is there. Siddharth Patil is there. Okay. So are you getting the in chat box? Till then you can put your questions. So last example is understood by you or not. So this will develop your approach towards how to solve such type of examples. Whether to say, yes, Nikita, I'll be answering your doubt in few seconds. Okay. Okay. So what is your doubt? How this 1 comma 1 is equal to, is not equal to actually. Okay. It is not equal to 0. Sorry, it is not equal to 1 comma 0. Now, this brings us to the definition of, I'll close the participant list so that you will be able to view. Okay. So, or let me take you to the notebook. Okay. So what is the standard definition? What is the standard definition of scalar multiplication? Scalar, I can say multiplication. Okay. If u1 and u2 are the two elements of vector u, and that vector u is in, let's say, given vector space, then I can say that if I multiply c by u by c, any scalar c, which is real number, so what I will be getting, cu1 comma cu2, that I will be getting. Okay, are you getting this? So they have described, or we can say depicted, the way to perform the scalar multiplication, and which is non-standard definition which is given by them. And as I said, we have to follow whatever given in the question. So what is that non-scalar, sorry, non-standard definition? If u is this u1 comma u2, and then cu will be cu1, this part is okay because standard definition is also telling the first element will be of the result after multiplying by c will be cu1, but the next result is 0. So whatever there is, second element should be 0 after multiplying by scalar c. Okay, so this means that if I take, let u1 equal to 1, u2 equal to 1, and let c is equal to also 1. Okay, let c is equal to also 1. Now what will happen here? Cu, I can say c is 1, u1 comma u2 1. So what will be the result of this multiplication? 1 into 1 1, and again 1. This should be the answer, but according to the standard definition this is the answer, but according to non-standard definition, that is the way in which they have described this. So what will be the answer? 1 comma 1 comma 1 equal to 1 comma 0, because second element should be 0 according to their definition. Hence we say that 1 comma 1 is not equal to 1 comma 0. 1 comma 1 is not equal to 1 comma 0, and hence we say that axiom number 10, axiom number 10, that is which axiom? If I am multiplying any vector u by 1, it should result in u, and u should be 1 comma 1, but what we are getting? 1 comma 0. Since these are not equal, okay, we will say that it is violating axiom 10, and hence this is not a vector space. This is not a vector space. So I think this is 9th or 10th example. And so are you getting this now? And for your sake, I am also showing you the 10th axiom, which is 1 comma u, sorry, 1 into u equal to, it should be u, but it is not getting u. Okay, it is different than u because of the non-standard definition given by them. Please consider that whatever they have given is correct. Okay, so actually the second element should not be 0. Okay, but according to their definition of scalar multiplication, which we have to perform on the given space, it is coming at 0, but it should not be 0 since these both are not satisfying each other, the results, or they are not equal. We will say that given space is not a vector space. And as I said already, even one axiom is, we can say, is quite sufficient to say that if that axiom is not getting satisfied out of all the 10 axioms, then the given space is not a vector space. Okay, given space is not a vector space. Okay, so I think our time is getting over. Okay, so in tomorrow's lecture, what we will see is the definition of vector space, sorry, the definition of subspace. Okay, the definition of subspace, the properties of additive identity, additive inverse, that we already seen, okay, in yesterday's lecture. And these were the keywords of your section 4.2. We have started section 4.2 with the definition of vector space, and that is having vector space, n space, matrix space, polynomial space, function space, continuous function space. We know polynomial space means we have directly said how polynomial of nth degree or less than that can be a vector space. Matrix space, we have seen the example of capital M and small m by n, which is having the dimension small m by n, and where m and n can be any real number. Okay, then n space means what? You know, n order tuple and all those things. And what is meant by vector space, that you should know till now. Okay, so I think okay, so tomorrow we'll be having the definition of subspaces, and in tutorial we'll be solving the examples based on subspace and vector space. Okay, how to call any space as vector space, when to call any subspace or any space of, is a subspace or of given vector space or not. How to decide that? That we will be seeing. So there are, you can see there are a number of examples, 5 to 6 examples in the on the slide. There are much more examples are there, but still, and we will see some extra examples from book. Okay, we will solve those examples also. Okay, so both of the means we can say lecture and tutorial is important. Okay, so we'll get the feel of how questions can come. So is that clear? Is there in doubt? Please please confirm so that I can leave the session. Okay, thank you all. Okay, so I'll be signing off from this session. We'll meet tomorrow